Limo rides to high-priced jobs with your favorite stars. Make a six-figure income stream in your spare time with little to no experience required. Not in this world. Welcome to the reality of voice acting. Walk with me as I take you on a journey into the world of voice acting. A place where I call a spade and hope you learn from my mistakes. Let's have a conversation. Be sure to check out the website www.richardhawks2.com. Welcome to the reality of voice acting with your host, Richard Hawks. Today's episode, this is episode 4 of the reality of voice acting, and today's episode is going to be called What to Do While I Save Up. This is a question that I actually saw in a subreddit group, the voiceover subreddit group, and someone posed this question, and I thought about that, and I think it's a very good question to be asking and thinking about when you're first trying to get into this very intriguing world of voiceover. So we're going to go through, and I have like 4 things actually that maybe 5 things that we're going to talk about today that goes along into answering the question of what to do while I save up. Now, before we get started, and the first thing that I want to do here is I do want to go through and do a disclaimer and an explanation. Well, not even a disclaimer or an explanation. I just let me just go through and just put this out there. Number 1, I am not a voiceover coach. I am not out here trying to portray myself to be a voiceover coach. I am a person that is bold enough, crazy enough, depending on which way you want to describe it. I'm a person that is willing to give you the uncensored truth, no matter what, irregardless of what everybody else is talking about. And here's the thing that I want everybody to think about as well, especially new people. I don't have an agenda as far as a money-making agenda from you as a new voiceover artist, right? As a new voiceover artist, when you're out here, one of the things that you will run into is everybody has some type of opinion or a way that you should proceed in getting into this business. And although I give information like that as well, I want to make sure that I be very clear and very understood when I say that this is an individual journey. The way you pursue getting into voiceover is going to be different, because your goals are going to be different. Your circumstances and your situation is going to be different. What you want out of this is going to be different. And guess what? As the technology is constantly evolving, there's always going to be some differences in the industry, and the industry is going to be changing and evolving to adjust with what's currently happening and going on. In the midst of all of that, I said all of that to say I'm not one of these people that's out here trying to, quote unquote, be the lost leader. And if you're not familiar with the lost leader concept, that's in retail where when you're looking at the sales ad and there's an item that's up there on the front page that's extremely, extremely cheap, and your thought is, oh my God, I have got to go and get that. That is an insanely cheap price on whatever they have. And when you get there, the salesperson is like, oh my God, if you would have gotten here a few minutes earlier, we only had so many of those and those went right out right away, right? And the loss leader is pretty much putting something out there to draw you in, to give them the ability to close you on a higher service or on a service in general. The way that coaches do this, and the way that the way a lot of these coaches are doing this right now, is they are offering, or they're appearing to offer something to you. You know, these quote unquote free coaching sessions, or this discovery session, or I'm going to give you free advice I'm going to give you a free 30-minute session, right? And then there's one that says they'll give you a free 30-minute session. They don't ask for anything in return. They just want you to subscribe to their blog. But in the midst of subscribing to their blog, and while you're on the conversation with them, they make sure to plug their quote unquote coach that they prefer, quote unquote, and it's intriguing because they did not, when I brought up a different service or a different particular coach. And well, actually, no, I didn't bring them. I did bring them up because I was like, oh, okay, you're associated. So you're associated with such and so and their coaching service, right? And this individual was like, oh, no, I'm not associated with them. The coach, their stuff is, yeah, you know, and they subtly threw shade toward this other coach that I mentioned, but made it a point to provide such positive information about this particular coach that they quote unquote recommend, because their style and everything is so much better than these other people that I thought that this particular person was associated with. So I said all that to say that the average person that's out there, these people out there have an agenda. And you have to think about this as well. There's a heck of a lot more new people coming into this business than I'm sure it is high quality work floating around. If you look at what these guys are charging, I'm quite sure you can see where and how profitable and how lucrative it is for someone to be a coach, or for someone to pretend to be a coach, quote unquote, because most of us that are coming in fresh and brand new, we haven't learned, we don't really know what we don't know. So a lot of this stuff that people tell us when we're first coming in brand new, it all sounds good and it all sounds logical and understandable, because most of the time we don't know shit. And because we don't know shit, they take advantage of that. Now, having said all of that, I'm not a coach. I'm not trying to be a coach. I am trying to provide some information to the new voiceover artist that is coming in brand new, who doesn't know what they don't know. And hopefully through this podcast and through me exposing and revealing a lot of the bullshit that I go through and that I experience, you will be able to avoid some of the bullshit that I go through and that I experience, and you can actually go forth and go further you can go further and be more productive, and not have to go and backtrack, and not have to go through the loss of excess funds and all of the other stuff that comes along when you are just learning, and when you're green in a new business, and when you're motivated to learn what you need to learn. But quite frankly, there's people out there that are going to take advantage of you. Everybody's not out here to help you and provide you with what exactly that you need to grow your business. A lot of these people are out here to grow their business at your expense, which is one of the reasons of me putting together this particular podcast and putting it out, because this podcast is going out specifically geared toward new people, so that you can be able to perhaps learn some of the things that I have learned already, and perhaps not do the shit that I've done that has not been productive and that has not made me any money. So, having said that, what to do while I save up? Now, here's the first thing that I'm going to say. Spend extra time making sure that you know what it is that you want out of this industry and which direction that you want to ultimately go in. Where do you want to be? Do you want to end up in this mid-level be one of these mid-level guys that are just a booker? And there's nothing wrong with being a booker. If you're one of these mid-level guys, which we all strive to be, we strive to get to that middle ground where we are booking constantly. Now, if our goal is just to get there to where we're booking constantly, okay, that's cool. But what if you want to actually get past that level and get to be one of these elite guys that are really killing it, getting extremely good jobs and extremely high pay for the little bit of stuff, you know what I mean? To be recognized as to be recognized not by any award show or anything like that, but being able to be recognized enough in the market to be able to command top dollar as these elite guys get. Obviously, depending on which way you want to go, is going to require an X amount of training and an X amount of investment in yourself and in your business. And honestly, there's a few ways that you can actually do it. There is no one set way to do it, to get there. But the one thing that I would say, that to start off right from the top, know what you want out of this business. Know precisely what you want to get out of voiceover. Do you want this to be full-time, part-time, side hustle, whatever it is? Do you want this to be what you do forever and ever and ever in a day? Amen. What is it that you want out of this business? Start from right there. And when you see and understand and actually go through and take some extra time to really dig in and examine these quote unquote, examine the business first before I get a little too far ahead of myself. Really examine the business. Really take a step back and look at what's really happening out here. Take some time to talk to some of these other voiceover artists who have been out here doing this for years and years and years. Get some different varying opinions. Don't just take my word for it. Go out and talk to some other people. See if what I'm saying is true. Go and sign up for one of these quote unquote discovery calls or one of these free consultations to answer questions or one of these free 15-minute sessions or free 30-minute sessions or whatever they term it to be. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that what these people are offering, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I mean, people out there doing what they got to do. They're marketing their business. But as a business owner, which is what you should look at this as, this voiceover thing is a business. As you look at this as a business, you have to look at what is going to be most profitable and most beneficial to your business, because any and everybody that you talk to that says that they're a quote unquote coach or otherwise are looking at and thinking about what's best for them and their business and what's going on with their service. So the first thing that I'm going to say is really take the extra time, since as the person said, what to do while they save up, since you're actually in the save up stage and you want to, and they said save up, which led me to believe that they want to really put the most funds into their business so that they perhaps can start right. So while you're saving up, do a lot of investigation and a lot of research into this business, into the business itself, into what you want out of it, and whether or not, and what's the best avenue for you to go, for you as an individual to go to get exactly out of the business what you are trying to get out of the business, right? Now, which brings me to my next thing. Research and investigate potential coaches. Having a coach that you can work with, that wants to work with you, is a wonderful thing. And a quality coach who knows what they're talking about, who really is in this business for real, who really is equipped to coach you for real, then that is what you need to be researching. Take the time to, I say take the time, all of these people who claim to be coaches, go on their channel and look at what they've done. Talk to some other voice actors who have gotten coaching from these people. If they do this quote unquote discovery call or free 30 minutes of questions or whatever they say, give it a whirl. Do it. Sign up for one. Just keep in mind that when you go through and do one of these, that the only thing that they are going to be able to answer, the only question that they will answer is that you need their service. You need their service. You just got to get with their service. You need to pay for their service. Whatever you have done or have not done is bullshit, because you did not deal with them and you did not get the coaching from them. And they are the greatest voiceover coaches and voiceover business builders that there is. And everybody else is, oh, they're okay, but they are not such and so that you are talking to at that particular time. So just keep all of that in mind. Bear in mind and realize that you're not going to be able to get anything substantially serious answered question-wise. I mean, sure, they'll probably go over a little something, and give you some tidbits or throw you some bones here and there. But they understand and realize that the only thing you can do with a voiceover coach in 30 minutes or 15 minutes is gauge their personality and see whether or not this is somebody that you're going to be comfortable working with. That's really what it is. After you have done your research on them prior to doing one of these calls, then yeah, just realize and understand it. Only thing that they're discovering is only thing that's being discovered is whether or not you want to work with them. Believe you me, they will happily take your money, whether they, want to work with you or not. They're doing this discovery thing as a way to close you, because as voiceover artists, there's not too many people out here that are decent coaches from the start. And depending on what our skill level is and where we're trying to go, could mean a good bit of lucrative revenue for said coaches. Now, of course, if there's any coaches out there who hear this, some coaches may take offense. I really don't care. If you're actually a stable, solid coach that's really doing the doggone thing and really helping people, then you won't be offended when I talk about people and coaches who are not doing doing the best that they can for, actually being a real coach, and not taking people's money or just stringing their training out longer than necessary, because by saying quote unquote, oh, you're not demo ready yet. Yeah. So and don't get me wrong, there is you do, and let me just kind of backtrack for a second. Well, not even backtrack. Let me just put it out there. Coaching is very important. And if you've listened to any of the things that I've spoken about, you hear me say that coaching is important, and that it is important for you to make sure that you learn the craft and learn how to really do this. Because if you really don't learn the craft and you don't know how to do this, you are going to have a hard time, because you just don't know what to do. And when you audition, you aren't going to win these auditions, because somebody else who knows what they're doing is going to nail it, and you're not going to get picked. That's just the bottom line. Learning and having a good coach that's going to be able to really get you to where you need to be, and learn and be able to really get you to learn this craft is a precious thing. take your time, research and investigate potential coaches. Okay. That is definitely very important, because the coach that you invest in, you want to know that the money that you're investing in this particular coach, and I know that somebody out there is going to say, well, no, Richard, you're not investing in the coach. You are investing in yourself, right? You're investing in the growth of yourself and the betterment of yourself, so you could be a better voice actor, right? Oh, yeah. Look, you want to make sure that you are with somebody that you trust, that is obviously knowledgeable on the business and all of that, and can actually bring you up to where you need to be so that you can press on and build your business, right? So, next thing, learn everything you can about your DAW, whichever one you choose to use, and audio production. Learn everything you can about your DAW and audio production. Why is that important? Your DAW and audio production. Granted, if you're an audiophile and you just know this stuff, you got an engineering background or something like that, if you already got this part covered and you know all about all of the wonderful things that you need to do to make a high quality audio product, great. Then you can ignore this particular part. But for the rest of us that are not maybe as well versed, the rest of us who are not audio engineers, the rest of us who are not audio producers, or who don't produce audio or any of that, or who doesn't have all of that extensive experience and knowledge, learn everything you can about the DAW that you are going to use in audio production in your spare time, or in the times in your spare time when you're not working your regular job or doing your regular business that you're already doing. Go through, find videos and tutorials that people are doing based on your DAW that you're going to use. Whichever one you're going to use, it really doesn't matter. The most important thing that matters is that you can get a high quality audio product out, and that you can do it as quickly as possible. And the best way to be as quick as possible is to learn your DAW that you're going to be using. Get as comfortable with it as possible. Now, next thing, learn everything you can about SEO. SEO, search engine optimization. Why is that important, you may think? Well, everything that we do, most of the stuff that we do, especially as we're coming out and coming into this industry, a lot of stuff, let's just face it, a lot of stuff is on a website of some sort. All of these websites are databases. In order to be able to get the most visually, to get the most impressions, to be seen the most on whatever platform or site that you decide to get onto and go to, search engine optimization is what these are all based on. How good are you able to get your profile picked up by whatever algorithm whatever site is utilizing? Now, yes, of course, this does go into your website and all of this other stuff as well. But search engine optimization, when you're on these platforms, you need to make sure that you understand how this whole search engine optimization thing works. And this is something that I'm still in the process of learning myself, as I'm going through utilizing these different platforms and the various sites, and having my own website, www.richardhawks2.com, and and being on Fiverr, Richard Hawks 2 on Fiverr, and being on Twitter, Richard Hawks 2 on Twitter, and being on Instagram, Richard Hawks 2 on Instagram. Search engine optimization is all about making sure that the digital spiders of whatever platform that you're on are able to see you first, and you are able to make sure that you are doing the best that you can to be captured in the algorithm. Now, granted, depending on what site you're on and what's going on and all of that, everybody has their different stuff. I get it. Every site is different, and yeah, you got some sites where you got to pay extra just to be seen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Aside from that, you still need to know as much as you can about search engine optimization. You have to know how to get yourself seen. And I tell you why. You could have the greatest demo. You could have the greatest pictures. You could have the greatest website. You could have all of the best of everything. If you don't know enough about search engine optimization so that you can be seen and found, it all means nothing. It all means nothing. Nothing at all. If nobody can see all of the great things that you've done, if you can't be found quickly, because let's be honest, a lot of times, especially in this day and age, when there are so many voiceover artists to choose from, there's so many different sites and platforms to choose from, you have to make sure that they can find you quickly and find you first. The best way to give yourself an edge is to know as much as you can about search engine optimization, learn how this stuff works, at least know enough about it so that you can get your stuff on point and get your stuff going, right? Now, what to do while I save up? Let me throw another one in here. And this kind of goes back along with what I was talking about with coaches. Go to, and this is once again while you're saving up, I challenge you to go to these coaches' website, go to these coaches' YouTube channels, go back and watch their old videos. Look at their growth and their process. Look at where they come from. Look at what they've done, what they have done, what they haven't done. Is it, and once again, look at their YouTube channels. Because, see, you'll learn a lot by looking at people's YouTube channels. Check out mine. Richard Hawks 2 on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and all of that. Because, once again, I'm just here to try to help. I'm not here trying to get you into a mastermind. I'm not trying to get you into a private Facebook group where you have to pay monthly just to be there. I'm not trying to get you into a private Discord where you have to pay monthly just to be there. I'm not trying to refer you over to some other coach that's going to give me a kickback just in case you deal with them. Not doing that. If I recommend somebody, it's because I really think that they can do the job, and they are who they say they are, and that they're actually really about training and providing and improving the artist. Because that's essentially what we're going to a coach for. We're paying a coach so that we can improve. We're not trying to just feed somebody's bank account just because we're not trying to be somebody's sucker. So I say having a coach is very important. Having the right voiceover coach for you is very important. And irregardless of what some of these old timers who've been doing voiceover forever will say, or what some of these newer people who are newly successful in voiceover will say, it's an individual journey. Yes, everybody, you can pick up a little things from here, there, and you can put all of that together to formulate your strategy and where you want to, and where you want and how you want to dive into this voiceover business and where you want to go with it. But it's your journey. It's your journey, and there is no one set way to get there. the one thing that you do want and that you do need is to be able to compete at the highest level in all aspects of this business. You need to be able to do it. You need to be able to have proof that you can do it. And after you have those two, you need to be able to be seen and found so that the people who need what you can do can find you, right? Now, what to do while I save up? I hope this answered your question, and I hope that this was very helpful for you. And once again, and shout out to all my new listeners. I was looking at the analytics, and I was surprised at how many listeners that we got to the podcast, to this particular podcast. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Share this podcast with anybody else that you think might need it. Once again, I'm that guy who's crazy enough to call a spade, and I'm one of the few people that are out here in this world that still actually use common sense. I mean, there's not too many of us out here, but there's a few of us that use common sense. So what to do while I save up? I hope this answered your question. Be sure to check me out next week. We'll have another wonderful episode for you. The Reality of Voice Acting with Richard Hawks. Peace.